So I'm really excited because I'm going to play with Wolverine. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that have done it before me. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting was who they chose to be his nemesis, being Omega Red. My first thought would have been Sabretooth. So to correct that, I've chosen to go up against Sabretooth. But I feel like Wolverine has a lot of different nemesis. So I wanted to incorporate some of those. So the modular sets I've chosen are not are Lady Deathstrike, and I need everyone to use your imaginations. I get that Bomb Squad is meant to be Hydra, but let's think of them being the Friends of Humanity. Let's go. So again, I'm super excited about playing Wolverine for the first time. Just want to go over a couple of things. This is the first time we've played him on the channel. In his hero form, after the player phase begins, I heal 2 damage on him. So that's pretty cool. And then his setup ability, he gets his claws. The claws, what they do is I'm able to exhaust them to pay for any event, but I have to then take that amount of damage. So for example, if I used Wolverine's claws to play dropkick, it's a 3 cost. So then I'd go from 10 health to 7 health. But it would gain piercing. So that's pretty cool. So that's Wolverine. We've played Sabretooth once. Just want to go over a couple of things with him. After he activates, so schemes or attacks, he then gets a boost card after it's been settled, and he then heals the amount that the boost icon's for, right? So if he grabbed, one boost, if there's only one boost icon on the bottom of the card, let's go with this. Well, that's a horrible card. All right, so for this one, it's got 3, so he would then heal for 3, right? So, also, Sabretooth is going in to try to find the Senator. So, the main scheme, which is represented here, he does not have, it doesn't finish, right? There could be 100 on there. It's just not good for me if there's 100 on this scheme. But I do need to clear this scheme first before we go on to the next phase. And once I clear this one, then the Senator, I have to protect the Senator at that point. So let's get started. So to get started, I got my first hand, and it's looking pretty awesome for resources, at least. So I will pay strength and regenerate healing. Oh, actually, before I do this, I am going to search my deck for my Wolverine's claws. So I found Wolverine's claws, and I did want to point out something. I think I mentioned it, but I just wanted to reiterate it. I did not take a mulligan this game because I thought it was pretty awesome. So I'm going to use strength and regenerative healing to play the X-Jet. I'm going to use Genius to play Angel. And I'm going to exhaust the X-Jet when I'm... Well, I guess that doesn't really matter, does it? I mean... I guess that's... doesn't matter one way or another. Oh, you know what? It does say exhaust my hero. I guess it doesn't matter whether one way or not. So I'll remove 2 threat from the Senator scheme, and we'll keep going. So there's a lot of things to keep track of. I think what I'm going to do here, we'll go ahead and add the 1 here. And for the Senator, we will go ahead and we'll add the 2 damage here. And then once I get rid of this scheme, the Senator scheme, we'll then change that to whatever his health will be. All right, so Sabretooth is going to attack me for 2. So that's 3. I dealt 3 damage. And then now it's time for my encounter card, which is Villain Schemes. So he will scheme for 1, 2, 3. Alright, so totally forgot. First thing I need to do, I heal for 2 points. And then I am going to exhaust the X-Jet to play Endurance, which means I now go up to 12 health? 12 health. And then I'm going to play Weapon X, and I'm going to use Weapon X and Recuperation to play Track by Scent. I get to remove 3 threat from a scheme. So, as I mentioned during the villain phase, what I'm going to do now is I will clear out the Senator's scheme. So I get to draw 2 cards. Which is awesome. Always. Ooh. That changes some things. Yeah, so I am going to clear the Senator's scheme. But what I'm going to do now, since this comes out into play, Kelly has 2 damage on him, so I'm going to put 2 out of 9 here. So this will now be, it goes from the scheme to his health. So I hope that's not super convoluted. I'm sure everyone understands what I'm talking about. So I could hit him for 5, or I can hit him for 6, and then hit him for another 2. So let's do that. I'm going to exhaust Wolverine's Claws to pay for Slice and Dice, so I go back down to 9 health. And then I'm going to attack Sabretooth for... he goes down to 7 now. And then let's have Angel gang up and hit him for another 2. And then... so I need to change some stuff around. But he's exhausted and he takes 1 damage. And then Wolverine will attack him for another 2. So he's now at 3 health out of... Alright. And I think that will be it. I'm going to discard these 2 cards. And that'll be it. Alright, so, and this is probably the part that it will get a little tricky for me, but if someone doesn't defend, then the damage goes to Senator Kelly. So for this first attack, I'm going to use Angel to defend for me. I've also gone ahead and I've added, the scheme here. So Sabretooth is going to attack for 2, 3. So Angel is now gone. And now I get my counter card, which is Feudal Rage. This says Sabretooth attacks the player who defended the scheme, even if that player is an alter ego. Which will be interesting with Gambit. Alright. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's wrong. This would not be the encounter card. He heals for 3. Really messes up my plan, but... so he's at 6 now. And now I get my encounter card, which is... Antinium. I can't say that word. Upgrade. I attach to an enemy without a copy of this card. Otherwise, gain Surge. Their attacks gain Piercing. I thought he already had Piercing. And I got to spend 1 of every resource to get rid of this. Alright. So now I can go to the next phase. Okay. So I think this is going to get a little squirrely. Let's use this and X-Jet to play for Track by Scent, which will get rid of the 1 scheme on the main scheme. which will give me 2-card draw, which did not do what I was hoping. This is probably not the smartest play. I'm going to play these 3 to get rid of this, because I think that's going to get nasty after a while. Then I'm going to use Wolverine to attack for 2. So Sabretooth goes down to 4 health, and then I'm going to exhaust Wolverine's claws. I never healed for 2, by the way. Which I'll need to do for this. So I will use Wolverine's claws to play Berserker's Rage, and I will defeat Sabretooth. So he's at 0 health. And I take 2. And then hold up. All right, so I've gotten everything situated with Sabretooth. He's in his second phase, except for the fact that I will now take another 2 damage. So I'm at 7 health now. And I will repeat this ability, so I deal another 4 damage to Sabretooth, and because I use my Wolverine's Claws, the attack gains piercing, which means he loses the tough status card. And now he loses. Now he's at 11 hit points. So, and that will be the end of my hero phase. All right, so as Wolverine, I am going to go ahead and defend this next attack against Sabretooth. So Sabretooth is going to attack. That way it prevents the Senator Kelly. And it's going to be 2 and a. If this attack defeats an ally, place 2 threat on the main scheme. It does not. So nothing happens. That's pretty cool. All right, so Sabretooth is going to heal now for 1. So he's at 12. And now my next encounter card. Crap. Sabretooth attacks you. If he has no sustained damage, he gets +1 attack for this activation. So he does have sustained damage. So he's going to attack, and I guess this goes to Kelly, right? So it's going to be 2, 3, 4. So Kelly now takes 4 damage. That means that it's close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the power of aggression. Oh wait, he is exhausted. To play combat training. And then I'm going to use the X-Jet, Logan's Cabin, and Regenerative Healing to pay for Psylocke. And she gets 2 counters on her. And so she is going to attack Sabretooth. So when she attacks an enemy, you remove 1 psychic counter from her. So she attacks for 1. And then I remove the counter. It says that you confuse the villain, or you confuse the enemy, and then you also deal 1 damage to it. So now he's at 10 health. All right, and that's the hit for the hero phase. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to flip over to my alter ego before I get started. And I'll just use, so I can use that confuse. All right, so I've already added the 1 to the scheme. So Cyclops, or not Cyclops, oh my gosh. Sabretooth is now going to scheme. He loses the stun condition, and now he's going to get his encounter card. Oh. I'm not going to give him the health because he doesn't. You know what? I have an issue with the rules here. Not issue. I have a question about the rules. I'm not 100% sure what I should do. So in this case, I'm going to go with the worst of the scenario where I'll give him a boost and he can heal. I totally recommend you look this rule up, or I'm sure I'll get somebody tell me that proper ruling here. So he's going to heal for nothing. It was his claws. And all right, so now I get my encounter card, which is Surge. There's an assault, and then bomb scare. So place one additional threat per person here, and it has an acceleration icon. All right, and hopefully we can finish this now. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to use attack training to play attack training. I'm so funny. Shout out to you, Homer. You know what? Let's get I got his stuff, so why not use it? I'm gonna use an energy to play warrior skill, which will, it uses 3 counters. And you exhaust it, right? All right, now we're gonna flip over to Wolverine. I'm gonna have Psylocke attack Sabretooth with attack training. She's gonna do 2 damage. So he takes 8 damage. And then but then he takes another one. And she loses the thing, and he also gains this confused. And then I am going to exhaust Wolverine's claws, play lunging strike. What? Let's go ahead and pay this. So now lunging strike does 9 damage. Wolverine takes 3. And now he is at -2. And then I'm not sure how this one works, but it doesn't say exhaust it. It just says when your hero attacks, remove 1 counter from here and add additional damage. So with that, Wolverine will attack and get on in this action. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So Sabretooth's at -4. Or I'm sorry, -6. So I'd call that a win. A little disappointing. I kind of was hoping to see some more of the cards, but what can I say? That was my playthrough with Wolverine. I guess it kind of works out a little better for me that way because we didn't see shadows in that game. And I've been watching a lot of the 90s cartoon lately since they've reannounced it and some things have gone on. I've got a lot more time to watch TV apparently. And Omega Red's in 2 episodes, and maybe in the comics he's a much bigger nemesis to Wolverine. But to me, if you think nemesis for Wolverine, it's Sabretooth. And everything that you ever see him in, you know, the movies, he's in there. If you watch Evolution or the 90s cartoon, it's always Sabretooth. It's not really, I think Omega Red's like a one-off. And that's not, I'm not bashing the game or anything. It's just, if you were to ask me who I think should have been the nemesis, first thing would have been Sabretooth. But I enjoyed playing the game. I think we only saw 1 upgrade from Deathstrike, and I think we got 1 or 2 from the bomb scare. so it wasn't really as thematic maybe as possible. But I do think that maybe we should see some type of Friends of Humanity cards coming in the future. I don't know if they would be super easy like Bomb Scare kind of is, but I mean, the Friends of Humanity, they are a huge enemy to what the X-Men are trying to do. But now I'm going off into more of like the comics and lesson champions. I thought the deck did okay. I'm still kind of tweaking it. The one that I'm kind of tweaking is actually more from Step Into the Portals channel, Brant's. He had a rush deck for Wolverine, and I'm kind of tweaking it a little bit to things that I like, and maybe I'll have another video on that soon. But thank you to all my viewers and all of my subscribers. It means a lot to me, and until next time.